Hello and welcome once again to L Educate. My name is Dr. Lukman Olushesi, also known as the School Doctor. Today, I'm going to be bringing to you something very, very controversial. Global stage, it has divided the people into two: those who are against and those who are in support. On either side, they have brought tons and tons of evidence to support their position. Amongst the government of the world, we also have a very broad division. Those who consider this issue as legal and those who consider it as illegal. Between these two broad divisions are people who are impacted and affected by the decisions of the various sides. My approach is going to be unbiased. I'm going to look at it professionally and from the angle of an individual who have sat with young people, who have sat with women, who have sat with parents to discuss the issue that I'm bringing to you today. Let's talk about abortion, the facts that you need to know. Please stick around and welcome to L Educate. Welcome back. Abortion is a medical procedure that ends a pregnancy. In other words, we could call it an end to a pregnancy. When it happens by itself, unexpectedly or spontaneously, it is referred to as miscarriage. However, when it is induced or it is caused to happen, then we call it abortion. Now, why are we talking about this at this time? The reality of our time is that young people now seek alternative sources of guidance, far and beyond that provided by the parents. Right? And we equally know that up until today, abortion still remains illegal in Nigeria and so many other countries. But beyond that, we know that abortion happens every day and it happens all the time. Now, before we go into the legality of abortion, let us share some information. To procure unsafe abortion is to make a decision to taste the poison. All right? Researchers have shown that abortion is very common among single young people, usually in their 20s. But the reality of our time is that even younger people in their teens, 15, 16, 17, are procuring abortion. All right? And because abortion is illegal, people are seeking underground way to procure abortion. All right? These are done by medicine sellers, nurses, including auxiliary nurses, health attendants, quack doctors, and so many, other people who will tell you they have this formula and that formula to get the pregnancy off and away from you. Where do people go to procure abortion? All right? People have been going to, some clinics. You will see them. There's a small place like that, clinic and maternity center. All right? Sometimes they go to chemist shop. Behind these chemist shops is a room and a couch where they do all sorts. All right? And sometimes people actually stay home and get an abortion done. What objects have been found to be used on people during this unsafe abortion? It will shock you to know that bicycle spokes, that iron in the rim of bicycles, have been used to procure abortion. The cloth hanger have been used to procure abortion. People have inserted different kinds of herbal preparations or even foreign bodies like twigs or chicken bone into the vagina to procure abortion. All right? People have been advised to even jump from heights to cause a very blunt trauma to the abdomen so that the pregnancy will get damaged and come down. These are just a few of the so many dangerous things that our people, our children, our daughters, are adopting to get away that pregnancy that they consider as unwanted, unneeded. My daddy must not hear of it. My mommy is going to kill me. So I have to just get this thing out of my system willy-nilly. Since I cannot go to a hospital because abortion is illegal, I have to look for other means. And our children are never short of advisors when it comes to issues like this. And when the outcome now lands, the advisors will disappear. It will become the problem of, the person and that of the parents. It is also a very huge burden on the health system, in a country like Nigeria, for instance, where the health system is very bad, the burden of abortion and its outcome is even making the matter worse. So let's continue and see how these things go. Having made the decision to procure an unsafe abortion, what normally eventually brings these people to the hospital is as a result of the numerous complications of unsafe abortion, amongst which are bleeding. Whatever it is that may have been used to procure this abortion, these people may begin to bleed and bleed and bleed. And when it is becoming apparent that they are going to bleed to death, then they cry out and they are taken to the hospital. The other thing that could happen is infection, all right? Most of the time, of course, the pregnancy is going to get damaged and some of it expelled. You will still have, some product of conception getting retained in the uterus. And that would act as a culture for bacteria that will take root and begin to spread within the uterus and beyond the uterus. Depending on the extent of the infection, if it is mild, right, it could just silently, without any apparent symptom, continue to spread and continue to do its damage. It will damage the womb, it will spread to the fallopian tube, it will damage it, and the person will not be bothered because she's not sick and everything seems fine and she has put the pregnancy matter behind her. And of course, the effect of this is going to be seen later. Then there are times that this procurer of unsafe abortion, the chemist, the auxiliary nurses, the quack doctors, they actually inflict physical damage to the uterus. I have seen an instance where, in order to get a fetus out, a quack had actually brought out the intestine of this girl through the vagina and pull it outside. On seeing that this is an intestine, he knew that something terrible has happened. He quietly pushed it in and encouraged the girl and the person that brought her to be taken to the hospital and warned them not to mention his name. All right? We have seen instances where the uterus and the rectum gets perforated and the girl begins to leak feces through the vagina. We have seen instances where the uterus and the bladder gets perforated and the girl begins to leak urine through the vagina. So many terrible things have been done in, the quest to seek an abortion underground. All right? And of course, secondary infertility. Like I mentioned, infection could quietly spread and takes roots and cause irreversible damage to the reproductive system. So when these girls are now of age and they get married to an unfortunate man. So the problem will start. Pregnancy is not coming. The first year, second year, fifth year, 10th year, 15th year, they'll be going from pillar to post. But of course, the girl would know that, it has happened. And there's no way on this earth that she's going to own up that, something happened when I was 17, when I was 18, when I was 20. And the problem will continue like that, constituting another psychological, social, emotional burden to a family, both nuclear and extended. And the worst case scenario in all this is that this unsafe abortion could actually end the life of the person concerned. Unsafe abortion is one of the highest causes of death amongst women in Nigeria. What are the usual reasons that girls or women give to seek abortion, especially unsafe abortion? One, a large number of girls would tell you that keeping a pregnancy would disrupt their education. So they cannot even afford not to end that pregnancy. Their parents has not sent them to school to come back with the baby. So it has to go. Then secondly, which is also very common amongst young people, is that the partners refused paternity. Even if the girl, in her mind, had accepted that, it has happened, a pregnancy is not a bad thing, nobody's going to kill me because I'm pregnant. And he raised the issue with the boyfriend or the partner, and the guy said, no way, I am ready to become a father. It throws a spanner in the decision of these girls. The other thing is that I have seen severally too, some of these young people that would confide in me that, okay, they are pregnant, but that their partners must not even hear about it. He must not know about it. And I would ask, why? Pregnancy is not something that you can get alone by yourself. It takes two to tango. And these girls would tell me that, he would be angry that I didn't take precautions, that I did not use any protection. He would be angry with her that she did not use protection. I mean, the young people, especially young ladies, never ceases to amaze me. You're pregnant, you're ready to risk your life for somebody who may eventually not even marry you, and you are so afraid of him that you cannot share your burden with him. So partners refusing paternity is another reason. Then amongst married couple or people who already have children, they will tell you that they don't want any more children. That is why they sought an abortion. So these are the main reasons. Other people may have other reasons, for seeking an abortion. For instance, if the pregnancy is a result of incest, father sleeping with the daughter, or as a result of rape, or as a result, whatever other terrible things that could happen that would eventually result in pregnancy, the woman concerned would come forward and request for termination. One fact in all this is that almost every death and injury that results from unsafe abortion is preventable. The young people who would go underground to seek an abortion are usually the poor ones or those living in poor communities. It is those living in poor communities that would have one chemist with a background shop, a behind a curtain shop, where he or she does all sorts of terrible things to these young people. And because nobody is going to question him, if complications happen, they go elsewhere to go and face their challenges. There's no reference back to, this is where my problem started from. Then secondly, these are the same set of people that either have poor access to contraception. It is either that they don't even know how to prevent pregnancies, or they deliberately refuse to use contraception. It will shock you to know that a whole lot of, young people, especially the ladies, will come and tell me that they don't like their man to use a condom. Now they are pregnant, they are ready to face it alone. And when they are done with aborting this, they will still go back and with the same mindset that they don't like the use of condom. What? It's really amazing, really. All right? It is either they have poor sex education, or they just decide to remain ignorant, or they decide to just live a very risky and reckless lifestyle. Whatever reason that it may be, every death, every injury, every complication that results from unsafe abortion are largely preventable. Let's talk about the legal status of abortion. Currently, in 63 countries, abortion has been liberalized. You can walk into a hospital and ask to have an abortion done. The last 20-25 years has actually witnessed a shift, on the stance of so many governments that to continue to criminalize abortion is just resulting into unnecessary death and injury to the women folk. So they now put a condition such that, if your pregnancy is still less than 14 weeks, you can come in and request an abortion. If it's less than 12 weeks, some say 8 weeks. But generally, it is not it is not a crime to seek an abortion in 63 countries currently. However, in our country, Nigeria, like so many other African countries and so many other poor economies, abortion still remains illegal. All right? Now, for countries where abortion remains criminalized, they only allow it if the pregnancy is a threat to the life of the woman, or the pregnancy is as a result of incest or rape. Any other thing outside that is illegal. All right? We also know for a fact that unsafe abortion contributes to a high level of death amongst the women in all these countries where abortion is illegal. Ill health, disability, and a whole lot of social, economic, and financial burden on the community, especially those low-income communities and societies. In many of these countries, the use of contraceptives remain low, especially in poor countries like Sub-Saharan Africa. High population, low literacy, low use of contraception. It is also for a fact that a quarter of all pregnancies are unintended, are unplanned, are unwanted, and half of them will end in an abortion. This figure is from our research. All right. Now we know that researches and data can only be gotten from hospitals, big hospitals. There are so many other abortions going on underground. In fact, much more than the health system can account for. So this number that 1 out of 4 pregnancies are unintended might just be a tip of the iceberg. And the other assertion that half of unintended pregnancy ends in abortion might just be a tip of the iceberg. All right? And we know for a fact that unsafe abortions end in death or disability in 1 out of every 4 women. That is, for the ones that eventually find their way to the hospitals, those ones who die silently are not accounted for. So whether abortion is legal or illegal, these are realities, especially in our own. I find these statistics very, very interesting, and it confirms the fact that regardless of the legal status, abortion takes place all the time. Now, in countries where abortion is legal, all right, they found out that the abortion rate is 34 per 1,000 people, all right? In a population of 1,000 people, you have 34 of them requesting for an abortion. And in countries where abortion is illegal, like Nigeria, the abortion rate is 37 out of 1,000 people. So although, statisticians, will tell you that, oh, the difference is not statistically significant. But let me tell you, it is a reality that we have more abortion taking place, even in countries where it is illegal, than we have in countries where abortion is liberalized. This is for a fact. Now, let us peep into the mind of a young person who just found out that she is pregnant, right? The thoughts will be absolutely conflicting. Am I ready to be a parent? Should I have a baby and give it out for adoption? What would it mean for my future if I have a baby now? What would it mean for my family if I go home that I'm pregnant? How will being a parent affect my goals, my careers in life? Do I have strong personal and religious belief about abortion? Am I even considering, is it even conceivable that I think about abortion? The confusion is real. You're lost. You are confused. You're unsure. You are perplexed. You are disoriented. You are bewildered. Is anyone pressuring me to have an abortion when I don't want to have it? Would having a baby change my life in a way I do not want? Or come to think of it, if I have my baby now, isn't it going to be a better thing, a better deal, for me and my baby to continue to grow, while I continue my education? Would having an abortion change my life in a way I do not like? Or will it change my life in a way that I will welcome? What kind of support would I need and get if I decide to keep this pregnancy? What kind of support would I need and get if I decide to terminate this pregnancy? All these will be raising in the minds of a young person who is single, unmarried, probably in school, and who just discovered that she is pregnant. Now you have to make a decision. What is it going to be? Who should you talk to? Now, this is not the time to talk to friends of your own age who does not know any better. You can go to, if you're in school, you may decide to speak to your counselor, to visit the counseling unit and open up to the college or university counselor. You may decide to go to the health center, talk to the doctor, talk to the matron. This is a problem that I have and I am confused. And this is what I am thinking. They are going to guide you. They are not going to make a decision for you. They are not going to tell you, do this, do that. They will tell you, if you choose option A, these are the likely consequences. If you pick option B, these are the likely consequences. So you go back and make your own decision. All right? Now let us pause at this point and reflect. Abortion is a choice. All right? And I can tell you for free that every strata of our society procures abortion, either from the Muslim religious group, Christian religious group, those who don't belong to those religious groups, either from the point of view of those who are against abortion or the point of view of those who are supportive of abortion. when things happen, each individual makes their own decision that will be best for them at that point in time. So don't go with the crowd. All right? Stick with your own conviction. Then, abortion has its own risks. Just like I have mentioned earlier, do not delude yourself that, okay, if I get it in the best of hospital, then it is risk-free. It is safe, but every procedure has its own risk. Then, I must also add that abortion never solves the pregnancy problems. All right? The fact that you have been reckless and you eventually get pregnant, having an abortion will not solve that problem. That, oh, I was pregnant and I had an abortion. The social effect is there, the psychological effect is there, the mental effect is there. Whichever direction you take, whether to keep the pregnancy or to abort the pregnancy, it's that problem, because you're not ready, will always be there. The beautiful thing about taking a decision that will be beneficial to you and your future is that sometimes you would have the need to look back, and when you look back and you examine the decision you took that time, all right, and you examine your present situation, some may end in regrets, some may end in hope. Thank God I made that decision. Now, you should also know that it is not only young people who are child-free that they are the only ones getting abortions. Married couple procure abortion. People who have children procure abortion, right? Then people who want children get abortions too. Currently, they do not have any child, and they find out they are pregnant, and they are comfortable. They might even be married, and they will tell you, we don't want that child now. So they go for an abortion. When people can't get safe abortion, all right, they resort to unsafe ones. There is no amount of sermonization that has been able to counter or that has been able to, change that narrative. No matter what we say, even as doctors, as pastors, as imams, as counselors, people who want to have an abortion, if they can't get it legitimately, they will resort to unsafe ones. And of course, access to safe and legal abortion has always been and will always be a public health issue. Right? Now let's come home. All right? There are two types of abortion. And I'm saying this as a healthcare professional. There are two types of abortion. We have in-clinic abortion, and of course the one that is procured via medication. All right? In the in-clinic abortion, you have a doctor or a nurse qualified. They use instruments to remove the pregnancy. Takes a very short time. They will ask you, to come for follow-ups, and it is generally very safe. It's the one that uses medication. And this one works best for pregnancy that is 8 weeks or less. The effectiveness of this method diminishes with the age of the pregnancy. And it can sometimes result in incomplete abortion, which will require hospital intervention. So make your choice very careful. And lastly, life is precious. Whatever the decision you make is going to have its own consequences. And in making your decision, talk to those who know better. Talk to those who would not be judgmental. Talk to those who love you and want the best for you.